a little bit of a do-it-yourself instructional video for my normal everyday viewers who watch my daily videos. You'll see bits and pieces of this here and there throughout my daily video, but I want to show how I'm making, this is specifically to show you how I'm making the most beautiful paneling for my tiny house on wheels using nothing but scrap wood, scrap lumber. Amazing wood grain in here. I like the rough cut. It's just perfectly clean on all sides, all the way around. Look at this. It's coming out beautiful. And I'll show you how I'm doing this using nothing but waste lumber that I got from an old lumber yard. Again, those of you that follow my videos every day know this. But here's a pile of junk lumber. There's a lot of dry rot in here. There's a lot of bad stuff. Some is good and some is bad, so I couldn't use it for structural work. But I can certainly shave this and get some very nice wood for paneling. And I've been using it for furring strips as well. So here's a badly rotted piece. That'll be pretty much useless for anything. But you can go through the wood pile and get some really beautiful paneling. So I'll show you how I'm doing this over here. So I've got all these strips I've been cutting. Now because I've got a generator running and I'm going to be using a table saw, I am going to use text to describe what I'm doing every step of the way as I work. Now some of this obviously have to be cut off. There's some dry rot right there. But even that can add texture and color. Some of this can add some texture and color to your wood. So I really love this. It's really turning out nice. So I'm going to demonstrate. Here's a typically dry rotted piece of wood that I couldn't use for anything for building my house. But once I shave this, you'll see the beautiful wood that comes out inside. See, this is all garbage here, see? This is useless for normal construction material. There's mold on it. Now, generally, there's a better side on this and a worse side. This is just filthy, but it's otherwise relatively alright. There might have been some bugs in here, it seems, but I'll find that out once I cut through. Now, that's mold. So, let's begin. I'll set up my tripod and I'll explain to you every step of the way as I go. Now, right now I'm behind the camera because I'm going to explain what I'm about to do now. The first thing I'm going to do is shave off the narrow edge of the 2x4. So I'm going to lower the deck so it just sticks up above the top of the wood. And then I'm going to flip it on and shave off both ends of the wood. And again, this will be, I'll add text onto this as I go so you can follow along with what I'm doing. Okay, now I've got one piece cut. I'm going to bring it up and show you. I can use this piece, and I'll show you inside how I've been using it. See this? If I can get in the camera here. See, this is a nice piece. Now it's dirty on one side, so I'll give this a brush later on to clean it off. And check it for insects and rot. Make sure there's nothing gonna hurt my house inside. But there, you get some color. There's a really sap-filled area, and it smells nice. I love the smell of this. You get some nice texture inside this wood and color. So here you get a couple burn marks on the saw and the knot. I like that. It adds character to the wood. So this piece I can use, and I'll show you inside later. So I'm going to shave off the other edge now, the dark edge. Now I've got two clean edges on the wood, so when I shave this, all the ends will be clean and straight. Now, you'll notice that I'm doing something that you should probably not do if you have a proper workshop. I got this saw for free, and it was junk and it was broken. So you notice when I'm standing on one side, and once I get to the end, I stop, I back off the wood a tiny bit, and I walk around the saw, and then I pull it out the rest of the way. I wasn't taught that in wood shop, and it's probably not standard practice because if you're not careful, it could cause a kickback. But I don't have the proper tools to feed the wood in the last of the way, and I've noticed with these long boards I'm cutting, which are 8 to 10, 12 feet long, some of these, it's easier for me to finish the wood by pulling it out. So by stopping, let the saw come to its full speed, back it up a tiny bit, let the wood rest. You can very carefully walk around to the other side. Again, that's not proper wood shop safety practice, but it's working for me and I haven't had a kickback yet. But again, I'm not advising you to do it. I'm just telling you that's why I'm doing what I'm doing right there. So now I'm going to raise the blade of the table saw to cut through the longer thickness of the wood. Now I'm going to start shaving my paneling. On this wood, because it's used and old, there's a dry rotted side, a really bad side, and there's a better side. Let me show you the two sides. If I can get this in the camera, it's awkward showing you and holding it. See, this side has got a lot of mildew and dry rot on it, whereas this side is just dirty. So I want to keep this side. This will be an actually usable piece of paneling, whereas this will be shaved off. Right there, I can push my finger on it. It's rotted right there. So I'll be shaving this part off. There's a really badly dry rotted spot. This will be shaved off. So let's run this through and I'll show you. Now I'm going to cut the clean side first, and the last dry rotted part will be shaved off last. Smells like pine sol. Now you notice the board broke, but look, there's a very wet, sappy bit of wood in there. It smells amazing. I love it. Now you notice the board broke and not. That's going to happen. Actually, that was sort of dry rotted really badly right there. That's going to happen. You can still use the pieces of this in your construction. Now, oh, I love that smell. So there's the one. Now what I've got is 3 clean sides to the wood so far. I'm going to continue shaving off here. I can get 2 more pieces of paneling from this. And in the end, this will be shaved off last. Now you'll notice I don't get my fingers close to that blade because I don't want to risk cutting my fingers off ever. So I also have my body behind the wood. As I'm standing behind the wood so that if there ever is a kickback, I won't be hurt. And I'm just using my fingertips to guide the wood through. Notice I'm taking it very slow and easy, and I'm being very gentle. I'm not forcing the saw. I'm letting the blade do its work, and if it starts to bind, I slow down and stop a bit. And that's why you see me keep adjusting my fingers and pausing a lot. This is an old saw, and I'm hoping it's going to last to do the my entire tiny house on wheels. So, but that is a new blade, so I'm just taking it slow and easy, a little bit at a time, and feeding it through gently. So now I'm going to shave off the back piece of this wood. Now I'm going to shave off the dry rotted piece of this wood, leaving another good piece of paneling that I can use inside my house. Now let me fold up the camera here. I'm going to pause and readjust the camera so I can show you what I've got. Okay, now I wanted to show you, see in the end here, oh notice I also have a roller to assist me. As the wood comes off the table, it comes onto a roller here. Sorry, zoom out. It comes out across the roller to assist me in feeding the wood. Now what I have is the final piece of paneling, which is beautiful wood, and over here we got a little bit of the dark color where the weathering has set into the wood with the time. I'm going to leave that. It gives some character to the wood. I love the knots. This one I'll have to be very careful with because it's fragile. But I love the colors and the textures around the knots. Really pretty. Now this, here we have some dry rot, but still it's okay. Here we have some discoloration from rot and age and moisture seepage. That'll probably crack a little bit further as it dries. So I have to just be careful with this. But otherwise it looks really nice. I'm really liking it. Now here is the piece I shaved off. This was the outside piece. See, with all the rot. And you can see now I took away most of the rot off the wood. I still have a usable piece of paneling for the most part. Most of the rot is gone. I see no insects, so it tells me this wood is going to be safe to use. There's a lot of dry rot there. Whoops, there is a termite. Correction. See, now that's why you got to be careful. There was a termite there, so you got to be really careful with this used wood. So I've got to keep my eye on this. I'm going to set this one off to the side in the sun. Or actually not in the sun, it'll wreck it, but I'm going to set it off to the side. Might even put some diatomaceous earth on it. So yeah, sure enough, there was some termites in that old wood. So I've just got to really examine it, make sure I don't bring any termites into the house. That's a danger. But there you have some very beautiful wood. This is all good and clean. And shaving off the old stuff and potentially dangerous stuff like that still leaves you with a whole pile of really nice paneling. Look at that. That's beautiful. That's off that piece I just did. Really nice paneling. Homemade, do-it-yourself paneling out of scrap lumber. Look at that. Better than anything you get in the store. It's clean, it's smooth, it's beautiful. It's got character. So let me show you indoors how I'm using this stuff. Look at the colors I got with some of these scraps. Salmon pinks and stuff. Beautiful wood. So let me get inside and flip on the light. Now there's my wall so far using some of this aged lumber and homemade do-it-yourself paneling. You can see some of the burn marks from the blade where it was heavier. The wood, aged wood is tougher. It's almost gets hard as steel, so it's hard to cut. Here's a little bit of a dirtier piece of wood. It's discolored from the weather. Here we had a little bit of dry rot. Again, I gotta just make sure before bringing that stuff in here that there are no termites. But here's some amazing salmon colored wood. Really nice. Really incredible. So there you have it. Do-it-yourself paneling using scrap lumber and a table saw. By the way, right here is maybe 10 minutes of work. And this will cover each 8-foot piece of 2x4 will cover about 12 to 15 square foot of wall. About 12, yeah, roughly 12 square foot of wall. Now, the byproduct you get here from all this shaving is a sometimes really beautiful and usable veneer. See, I get a very thin shaving cutoff left over from this, and it can be used as a veneer in projects. Now, because of the age of the wood, you'll notice the thicknesses are not the same, because the wood shrinks with time, and based on its exposure to the weather, it's got different shrinkage rates. But I can use this in other projects as a veneer for tabletops, boxed outer coverings for boxes or whatever. But I will use this probably inside my tiny home somewhere, because it's too pretty to throw away. And when you're into recycling and reusing, you have to use everything you can get your hands on. So I'll probably figure a use for that inside somewhere.